Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Deep Thoughts. And today we are talking about Fruits Basket, episode 11. What is the title of this one again? This is A Wonderful Inn. Very appropriate title. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into this one. Get into this one? Get it? Okay, sorry, let's start. So when the episode begins, we find out that the gang have just finished their final exams for, I believe, the spring season, or they're entering the spring season. I don't remember. All I know is that I saw the word exams and thought, oh, you poor creatures. I was so bad at exams in high school. Oh my goodness. That said, the way that Toru and the gang get to do their exams was much less stressful than the way my school did their exams. Back when I was in school, we had to gather up in the gym, and that was an experience. There was about 200 of us writing an exam, and fun fact about that, it was so silent you could hear a pencil drop. And I remember one time a kid farted really loud in the middle of an exam, and everybody turned. Oh, the shame. Oh my god. I can only imagine how embarrassed they were. Luckily, that didn't happen to anybody in Fruits Basket, although I would have died if that happened. I don't know why I told you that story. Anyway, moving on. We also see in this episode Toru get sort of pulled aside by the teacher, though I will talk about why that is later. I will instead jump to seeing Momiji for, again, who I almost wrote down as Momoji. I don't know why I did that. But yeah, Momiji's back. Yay! And I haven't seen them in a while. Honestly, I was sort of surprised because I kind of forgot that they were in the show. So seeing them again, I was like, Guten Tag, my boy. I wish I knew more German than just Guten Tag, which I believe is good day. You would think, do I know any more Wunderbar? Wonderful? I don't know. I don't know enough German. And Momiji in particular is a character I really want to kind of focus on. I believe I probably made Momiji the thumbnail. If not, it was one of the two really shippable scenes this episode, but it's probably Momiji because Momiji's the focus. Not so much focus, but Momiji's the character with whom the episode sort of kicks up around, I suppose you could say. Momiji is a lot wiser than I gave him credit for, but I do want to stress too, he's not really getting on my nerves as much as he did when he was first introduced. I was like, oh my god, this kid is so hyper. And ironically enough, it's the same reason why Kyo gets annoyed with him and kind of puts him in a headlock, because he's just you're already getting on my nerves when he came in. But honestly, the little dude's growing on me, or at least who I assumed was a little dude. Again, we'll get into it. But yeah, Momiji's growing on me a lot. I don't find him nearly as annoying as I once did. He's actually quite sweet in his own way. And I think most impressive of all, for me at least, is the kid is shockingly clever. He's very wise. The fact that everyone else in his class sort of chuckled and laughed at the story of, what was it, the dumbest traveler or whatever it was called. The fact that everybody else took that story and didn't learn a lesson from it, they just laughed. Whereas Momiji saw that and was sort of impressed by the traveler, that all she wanted to do was make other people happy even at the cost of herself, and that should be admired as opposed to just sort of dismissed as a joke. And Momiji, I think he saw Toru in her, and that's why he brought up the story when he did. Momiji's a lot wiser than I think myself or even the rest of the cast gave him credit for. And once again, I have to eat humble pie, because once again, there's another Fruits Basket character who I feel one way about and then ultimately feel the total opposite. Or I start off being I don't like them, or they do this thing that I don't enjoy, and then it flips the script. So Momiji was a character who I thought was loud and obnoxious, and I don't know if I said this in that video, but just to reiterate, I don't like kids. Kids really bug me. And again, we find out something about Momiji later, but I thought Momiji was a kid. And the way he acted was certainly childlike, and it sort of got on my nerves, but I will protect this one. I will defend this boy, this new potential Enemu son. I will protect Momiji. He's a good boy. I mean, he might not be a kid, like I thought. Again, let's just talk about that here. Momiji's not a kid. I was right there with Toru. I thought Momiji was a child the entire time, only to find out that he's a year, the same age as Haru, who I thought was older than everybody. My mind. The Somas, man. The Somas defy logic. That is They defy logic and damn good reason. And I suppose logic and reason need not apply when it comes to the princes that are the Soma family. There's a lot of princes in the Soma family, you say, Toru? You can say that again. I swear everybody in the Soma family is just a Disney prince. The rules of reality need not apply to them. They are too amazing and fabulous for this world, which is probably why Toru hangs out with them, because her and her friends are also too fabulous and amazing for this world. That's pretty much all my feelings on Momiji, who I apologize if I called him Momoji. I just realized I may have, but anyway, Momiji, that's pretty much all my thoughts. Just I was really impressed with how they handled this character. But I also want to point out the story that Momiji does bring up. That's the dumbest traveler ever or whatever. I gotta point out the show, when they talk about, like, when they mention stories or parables or just a character is talking about something and it cuts away, the show has such a way of showing, I don't want to say imagination, but like when it needs to cut to like a storybook or just like a children's drawing or something like that, like we saw with the plum analogy, like you have a plum on your back. And we see this little like rice ball thing. Like, do you remember that with where like it was almost drawn with rainbows? It was trippy. But when the show wants to have like, it is describing a story or a metaphor or something, and it cuts to like some sort of other animation, not other animation, but just this other style of animation. And I can't even say style, just this other aesthetic. And the aesthetic here of like the children's book looked so good. Oh my god. Oh my god. It looked so good. This show kills me. I don't know if it's been a while since I said this, but I just adore this show. I had sort of a long day, and this episode, I'm sorry if I'm going like too personal with it, but this episode kind of happened when I was having like a long day. Not like a super long day, just like a tired day at work, you know? And I think it's doubly so because the retail grind gets to you over time. And I just wanted to kind of go home and watch JoJo's and Fruits Basket. And watching this episode, I know it's not Niyashike, but man, does it feel like it sometimes. And especially seeing the inn once we get there. Although the innkeeper, she is a character. She is lovely. But yeah, seeing the inn, it was just, I don't know. It just made me feel a lot better. Speaking of making me feel better, though, I did feel all sorts of feelings about two scenes in particular, one of which being the Kyo and Toru scene where Momiji's just like, oh, you were making hard eyes at Toru. And that's when I was like, dang it. I kinda ship it. I mean, like, I was never, like, against the Kyo-Toru ship. It's just I kind of shipped Yuki and Toru a little bit more. But seeing this, I was like, you know what? Especially with me now kind of shipping Haru and Yuki, I can sort of get behind the, I still ship Yuki and Toru. But at that moment, I was like, you know what? I can kind of ship Kyo and Toru. I can ship it. Even though Yuki and Toru was my preferred ship, I'm starting to see why people ship Kyo and Toru. And that scene in particular where he's like, I'll go with you. Like, fine, I'll go to this friggin' inn. I don't want to go, but I'll go to the hot spring with you. And she gets all excited, and he just laughs because he's like, I was not making fun of you, but I was trying to give you a hard time, and you didn't even notice. And he has that line of like, what am I going to do with you? And I was like, oh, it's so cute. And then Momiji going like, you're making hard eyes at Toru. I was like, Momiji ships it too. Oh, dang it. Well, if Momiji ships it, then I guess I'll start shipping it. And just when I'm thinking that, we get the whole like, does it suit you, my princess, scene with Yuki and Toru, and dang it, I shipped this too. Why must this show give me feelings that I don't know how to feel about? I forget. This show. They need to pick a ship and stick with it, because this friggin' Kyo, Yuki, and Toru love triangle is killing me. Last thing I want to mention before we go, and I'm positive I'm missing something, but I do want to point out that yes, the scene that leads into the whole Yuki Toru scene with the ping pong, like them playing ping pong, the fact that Yuki had to leave because he really didn't want to laugh in front of Kyo and Toru, that was really dang funny. It was mostly Kyo because he still got his rivalry with Kyo, but I just thought that was really funny. I love the whole ping pong scene. But yeah, also my heart can't take this show. My heart is also is on one hand healed by the show, and also cannot deal with this show. It's a lot. That's pretty much gonna be my thoughts on everything in this episode, though. Overall, if I had to give it a rating, I would give it a solid A. I would give this a solid A episode. Really well done. Well, with that said, everybody, that's going to wrap things up for today's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy today's video and you feel like helping out, then by all means hitting that like button and sharing the video around the internet. That would be super rad of you. And if you would like to stick around and check out more from me, then by all means hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to join the good ones. And as always, before we go, I have to give a big shout out to the good folks over on Patreon, namely those in the Earl Grey tier: Dominic, Urza, No For Nothing, Maria Teresa, Omner Garamond, Opinionated Slime, Shadow Creative, Sipco Games, Tristan, and Veridin. If you too would like to join the T Squadron, then by all means go ahead and check out the link in the description to our Patreon. It would be super appreciated. For as little as $1 a month, you can help this weeb achieve his goals. Thank you guys so much for your support on these videos. Really, it means a lot. And until our next meeting, stay rad and don't scary.